Today we find ourselves at CEX Washington. Hope is low. The post-Christmas lull has hit hard. Shelves are bare in places. But despite everything, the GameCube Quest continues. Straight into the retro section we go, and for once there's a bit of variety. Some different Game Boy games on the shelf. Always nice to see those old great carts again. There's even a Miriam Pokemon card here. Didn't realise CEX had dipped their toes into graded cards, to be honest. Now it is graded, but honestly this really feels like a risky move. That market fluctuates way too fast. Let me know what you guys think. Now this is what I came for, Mario Golf on the Game Boy Color. Now initial impressions look good, but sadly not to be. I asked a staff member to take a closer look and unfortunately there was a bit of sticker still on the box, which is fixable, but the corners of the box itself were pretty damaged, and worse still, the manual had been badly damaged, so too many problems for my liking. All those 3DS consoles from a few weeks back, they're gone. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm really tempted to start collecting 3DS consoles, but I say that when just the other day I was eyeing up a Mega Drive, so clearly I have no self-control. Over to the Nintendo Switch, and honestly, there's just not a huge amount here that I'm after. There is stock, but it's very common stock. You know, your usual FIFAs, Lego games, Mario, Sonic, Zeldas. Lots of great titles, but most of them I already own, or just don't really want. Now this one was new to me though, SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. This was released in 2018 and it's a tag team fighting game and a spin-off game from the King of Fighters. I'm not really versed in fighting games, or SNK in general. The only character I really know is Mai Shawadiwari, and her historic inability to get into Smash for fairly obvious reasons.
Boo ba 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 ba. Boo ba ba ba. What? Why you guys saying the boo ba ba? Boo ba? Boo ba?
You know, it's grim when you can't rely on the Switch. A small but nice selection of GameCube titles here. Beyond Good and Evil. Pretty sure that one just keeps creeping up in price. If Beyond Good and Evil 2 actually comes out, I can see the price of this one going up even further. The first Splinter Cell as well. Only £3. Condition isn't great, but at that price, I am tempted. Otherwise, it's this one, Soul Calibur 2. I do already own it, but disc only. Picking this one up would mean rebuying the whole thing, but it's only a tenner. I don't know, it's not exactly an exciting pickup because I'm just replacing the case, and it is a pretty common one, so I can't put it back and pick it up another time. Soul Calibur 2 came out in 2002 across all three consoles. The GameCube version is the famous one. It had Link. It sold ridiculously well because of that, but it was kind of a double-edged sword. A few friends and I grabbed the GameCube version and got really competitive with it. Then the sequels went PlayStation only. We had to relearn the controls and honestly, we just dropped the series entirely. And asking around, that does seem to be a very common thing amongst a lot of GameCube fans. Bit of an own goal really, isn't it? Ditching the console you just built an audience on. Just thinking about it makes me angry. Yeah, it's a Splinter Cell purchase. Some nice Sega titles here. Syndicate immediately stands out, a Bullfrog game, so it's actually on my SNES pickup list. But just not today. That's a quest for another time. Syndicate is one of those Bullfrog gems that still genuinely holds up. Say what you want about the man, but Peter Molyneux was an absolute king when it came to inventive ideas. And honestly, that's part of the reason why I'm a little reserved about the new Fable game. He's not involved. Well, we'll see what Washington CEX has. Let's go over the road to game. Game is game. Sometimes you can find a few decent bargains in here, or at the very least, some TCG boosters. It is nice seeing some fresh stock, but honestly, it's all starting to feel a little bit underwhelming for me. Game is almost always more expensive than online or at Smith's, and there's rarely anything genuinely unique or special tucked away. I have had some luck with Nintendo Switch bargains in here before, so it is always worth a quick check to see what they've got on clearance. Sadly, today just isn't one of those days. Everything here is either more expensive or just not something I'm looking for, at least at these prices. And no, neither Pokemon nor One Piece boosters packs today. Determined to make more of the trip, I moved about 10 minutes up the road to the Metrocentre. You know, free parking and all that. It's not looking great. The Switch section is now down to a single segment. Now, there are a few interesting titles here, however. Eastward. This one was really cheap for a while, but it's climbed in price pretty rapidly. But I'm not giving in to FOMO. Not today. Another one here that is absolutely worth a look is Sword of the Vagrant. Again, creeping up in price. I do already own this one, however, but it's essentially a homage to Vanillaware's art style. Released in 2022, it centres around a cursed sellsword, and the story twists and unfolds from there. You're not getting vanilla levels of quality, but it is a game worth checking out. Although now I think about it, there were a few scenes that had a bit of
boo ba 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 ba. Boo ba ba ba.
Last up is Snufkin, Melody of Moomin Valley. A Moomin's game. Remember Moomins? I was always a little creeped out by them. This is on my list to pick up, just not at that price. Far too high. I've seen this for so cheaper. Honestly, some of these shelves are absolutely bare. There are a few decent titles left, but honestly, it's bleak seeing so little on offer. Bleak indeed. Let's go to the GameCube section. Cover reprinted. Yep, says it all really, doesn't it? Perfect. Now, CEX today wasn't the best, but we still managed to get some decent pickups. Let's have a look and see what I picked up today. The first title I picked up was Splinter Cell on the GameCube. Now, this has ultimately become a GameCube Quest. Now, I went to CEX Washington in hopes of picking up that Mario Golf game. Mario Golf has been exceptional on both the N64 and on the GameCube. So I thought, you know what, it makes sense to pick up the one for the Game Boy Color. I'm sure it's got a cross thing with the N64, so it is technically on my full N64 list. Sadly, the boxed version, initially it looked like it was kind of just, oh, you know, like a little bit of stickers on here, but the more I looked at it when the clerk opened it up, the more I kind of was like, this isn't for me, there's far too many issues. That's kind of became apparent, and I ultimately left it. I did instead pick up Splinter Cell, which, honestly, it was only a £3 game. It's not in the best condition, it's got a bit scuffed and stuff like that, but it's a £3 game. For some of these GameCube games, if I can find them cheap, I'm going to get them. Now, you guys are fully aware that at this point, I am collecting great games, or at least interesting games. Games that you don't see too often. And Splinter Cell is one of those games that is absolutely epic. I remember the buzz around this. I think at the time it was like an Xbox exclusive, or it was being touted as an Xbox exclusive. And this was pretty much going toe-to-toe with the Metal Gear Solid franchise in how great a stealth game could be. Sadly, as the time's gone on, this one's kind of fallen away at the wayside. I think the last one was actually on the Wii U. I think that's how long ago Splinter Cell has been inactive. As far as I'm aware, Ubisoft were making a new one, but whether or not they still are is another question. This is one that I'm definitely going to play through, and while it's not in the best condition, it is a nice pickup anyway. Always nice to get another addition to the GameCube, and Splinter Cell, in my opinion, is one that is up there. Because I was kind of like, oh, I only bought a £3 gear, I want a little bit more, I went to the Metrocentre because I saw that the Metrocentre had some stock of GameCube games, and cover reprinted. We know cover reprinted is an issue across CEX stores. What obviously tends to happen is they put stuff on the shelves, people just nick the boxes, and well, they have to reprint it because they can't just lose that seal. I personally don't agree with it. I personally feel like it should be sold as unboxed, but that's just me. That's CEX's practices. What do you guys think? I would never buy a cover reprinted box unless it was significantly reduced. You can get some of these boxes like elsewhere, like online and stuff like that, but they always tend to be close to full price of the game as well. But I'm waffling. I did still pick up a GameCube title, and this was one that wasn't actually on the shelves. This was one that was behind the till. That's right, they're aware of these escapades of stealing stuff, and it was a corker. Now, this is one that, while I didn't get Mario Strikers, I did get Mario Power Tennis. Now, Mario Tennis is actually my favourite Mario Sports title. Mario Tennis on the N64 gave me so many hours of absolute joy, and this is one that I skipped over, and the reason being was that, well, I was happy with Mario Tennis on the N64. What can you do different with a tennis game? What can be different? Well, this is one that I actually eventually played through on the Nintendo Wii. They did like a Mario Tennis like motion selects version where they basically re-released the game with motion controls. And yeah, I played it on there and I had a great time. I just never went back and get it. Now I'm going for GameCube. It had to be in the collection, and this is an absolute gorgeous release. We've even got like the little kind of like booklets and stuff like that, and they all look absolute fantastic condition. And the game itself, oh my god, this is fantastic. Now, I'm going to be honest, Mario Tennis as a whole, on the 3DS, on the Wii U, even on the Switch, was kind of underwhelming. The Switch 2 one is coming out in a few weeks' time, and while I am tempted with it, I'm struggling to justify brand new Switch 2 prices for that one, especially when we've got stuff like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest and Trails all out at the same time. But playing the GameCube one, that meant, this is such a good game. I enjoy this so much. So this introduced like a lot of like specials and stuff like that, so you kind of just might have like a powerful smash kind of way you can do a powerful like hit of the ball to kind of win, but then you also got like emergency saves and stuff like that. It really makes things kind of work a little bit differently. Mario Tennis on the N64, and I think on the Game Boy Advance as well, is kind of more of a traditional one. this makes it more Mario-esque, more wacky, more fun, kind of changing things up a little bit. While I do feel like it does end up being that you have to rely on the specials a little bit too much, it's still a great event, and there's plenty of characters, there's plenty of courses, there's plenty of different things to unlock in this game that makes me coming back and back. I sank already, just after buying this, I've sank a good 4 or 5 hours, and much like with Mario Tennis, I still can't get certain points. I get to a certain, I think it's like the Star Cup, like the 3rd cup, I get to that, and all of a sudden, like every single rounds like takes ages and it's difficult, and I don't know what is, there's like a huge difficulty spike. Couldn't beat it back when I was a kid, can't beat it now. That's how Mario Tennis goes. So, only 2 games, but we did advance the GameCube Quest. GameCube Quest is going to be something that's going to be long winding, and we're going to go from having great games to very little. GameCube has always been something difficult to find. Even about 10-15 years ago when I was collecting it, it was always something you would find rarely. It was never really picked up. So I kind of feel like we haven't really had a decrease in GameCube stock, it's just kind of been maintained. But as we go on, we're going to struggle and struggle. Look at the N64, it's getting more and more difficult to find a new N64 game that I need in CEXs. I'm having to go to further afield. Hopefully the GameCube will continue for quite a bit longer, since it is essentially a newer console for me to collect. I only have, I think I've got about 80, 90 at this point, out of 400 and odd. Yeah. But let's talk about CEX. Now, let's give a positive thing. When I went and bought the Splinter Cell game and obviously talked about the Mario Golf, I had an absolutely huge positive interaction with CEX staff. I'm going to be honest, CEX staff are absolutely fantastic. I've always had a great interaction with them. They're always happy and willing to help, obviously happy to check over things, explain things through, and I know CEX gets a really bad rap for, like, oh, you know, there's the smell in the place, which, to be honest, I've never really had that smell for a long time. They always drink Monster. I've never really seen them drink Monster. I mean, at the end of the day, can you imagine somebody who drinks that much caffeine? Nightmare. But honestly, all of the CEX staff have been polite, they've always been nice, they've always been chatty. I mean, I'm kind of pretty, like, over the top in what I wear. You see me, I wear a Phoenix Wright hat, I wear KFP hoodies, I wear, like, anime stuff on my bag. And I often get talked to because of that stuff. It's always, like, nice to make little small talk and stuff like that. It's always ends up having a really good connection with CEX staff, and I'm always appreciative of that. It's always a really nice kind of thing, and that's just stuff in general. I've always had good encounters. But let's talk about the real thing in the room, the stock. See, I mean, it's the post-Christmas lull. Of course, people buy stuff up at CEX for Christmas, but man, that Gateshead one, those shelves are just so empty. And we can't just say it's N64. I mean, N64 is kind of an anomaly at this point for the analog 3D. Everybody is now collecting N64. We are on the cusp of the retro event season as well, so I know there's some sellers going out buying stuff at CEX just to stock their own kind of little stalls and stuff like that. Fair enough. But that Gateshead one, oh my god, it's bad. It's bad when you can't rely on the Nintendo Switch to buy a game. The shelves were bare. Now, CEX, to be fair, the one in Gateshead did have a few titles that I was tempted with, but every single one was more expensive than Amazon. So that Snufkin game, that was something that was on my list, and I'm sure I saw it on Amazon for 25. CEX wanted 40. No way. And there's obviously the fact that the rise of cover reprinted as well, and the combination of lack of stock means that it looks like there's even less stock. When you're going and there's a little glimpse of hope that you might be able to pick something up and its cover reprinted. Oh, that's a double whammy. That's a double whammy. What do you guys think? Do you think that CEX is kind of running out of stock, or is it just kind of a post-Christmas lull? I mean, I'm kind of at the end of January at the point of recording this, and I've never really noticed it starting to get restocked, which is kind of scary in a way. But we'll see how things go. We're going to start travelling further afield. The better weather's going to start coming after February usually. So, I mean, we're going to go. We've got a few CEX hunts all planned for the next few weeks, so we're going to try and get a few more GameCube games, N64 games, stuff like that. But after that, further afield. I want to have that N64 collection done. I want that GameCube selection to get better and better. And of course, we can buy stuff on the Nintendo Switch. After that, who knows? Game Boy, probably. SNES, I think that's the next logical stop. But for now, the quest continues. GameCube, 2 more games added. A good time. Enjoy your cuppa, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoy this, join me on the next quest, because we've got another quest right up here where we pick up some fantastic titles. See you over there.